Hello everybody, Gary here, and I hope you all enjoyed a very happy Christmas, a peaceful Christmas. Welcome back to Jungle Heaven. We're in between Christmas and New Year. It's now the 28th of December, and I was just going through a few little plants, and I've noticed I have two jobs to do today. One is on this Monstera medusa. This obviously needs treatment because what I've found is that some of the roots, as you can see in here, are going black. And what's happened with this plant is I've transitioned it from soil into leca, because I'm trying to get rid of soil in my condo, because the leca is easier because I can put it into little kind of reservoir pots like this, and it just makes it easier when I pop out of Bangkok, Thailand, you know, to for my neighbour to come in and help with the maintenance on the plants. So basically this one's just going to need taking out and trimming off those black roots, and also getting treated with hydrogen peroxide. Just leave it in the solution for 5 minutes and kill any bacteria or fungus we have. So that will be one job, and it's just kicked out this beautiful new leaf here, look. Sorry, that's leca falling. So you can see here this beautiful new leaf, and we have the classic medusa traits on the back, which these dark raised embossed sections, and then you have the little kind of very thin veins connecting all these leaves together, and they start curling up now as well, which is great news, just like this leaf here. You can see that's a beautiful leaf actually, and you can see if I turn it on its side, it's starting to do that classic medusa curl up. Okay, so that's the first plant, so let me put that down here just out of the way. And the second one, I have this Indo Portillae cross Fort Sherman. This one is getting too big in its current pot, and it's now kicked out an inflow, which I'm quite excited about, but it's very unstable in its current house. You can actually see the size of the leaves here. If I turn that leaf round, it's actually about the same size as my head. That's the latest leaf that's come out, but I think this is a slight mutation plant because the leaves are doing some weird things. I mean, they're a bit curlier than normal Indo Portillae, but yeah, and you can see it's quite wobbly in here, so I bought a new stick, so I'm gonna repot this one because I can see some veins coming out the bottom, and also support it. The inflow, I'm waiting for some pollen to come out on this, and then I will take some pollen freeze and possibly cross it with something else. So yeah, stay with me, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. But again, as a good Christmas present to me from you guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, and also give it a thumbs up. Or if you didn't really like it, just let me know in the comments below, you know, what I can change and what I can improve on. But yeah, stay tuned. Thank you so much. Okay, so what I've got is this tray here to catch all the leca when I tip this plant out, and just to keep everything tidy. So let's just tip this over. So this is the Indo Portillae. I'm going to do my best to get most of the leca balls out. Wow, those roots are mad. So I lift this up carefully. Let's take these little supports off, the weak supports, and you can see that the root ball has gone mad. So this definitely needs to have a bigger pot and a little support. Right, so let's get cracking. So firstly, what I'll do is I'm going to try and leave all of the leca balls inside here. I don't want to kind of filter it out because these will keep it supported for the inside. So I'm just going to put that inside here and go and get the pot that I'm going to replant it in. So I've got like some little broken off roots here, which is a shame, but Let's get them out of this lacquer because I'm going to reuse this. And I don't want this to rot inside, so okay, just a couple more bits. Okay, so I bought this pot here, which is a good upsize. This one is a 17 by 15 centimeters or a 6.5 inch pot. It has a little plug here where you can take off because it's like it supports water in the bottom, so the roots can grow down into that. And it's by Artstone, so it's a unique drainage system. So you have a reservoir, excess water gets filtered out the top and out the bottom, and the plug, as I said, take that out to let any excess water out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the plug in and just fill it up a little bit more so it covers the bottom layer of the lacquer. So let's get started. So what I want to do is get some of my new lacquer. I've been using the smaller ones. These are actually bigger stones, which will be more beneficial, I think. And I have this nice wooden cane. Right, so I've got this little wooden cane inside. I'm going to use slightly bigger lacquer balls because the plant's getting quite big now. So I'll just put a little layer in the bottom here, and then I will bring the Indo Portillae Crossfort Sherman back over, just being careful not to disturb the roots too much. And it's good because I can actually tie this now to the post, so it should be more stable. And what I'll do is I'm going to put the smaller lacquer balls back in first because I need that to go back in between the roots. And just give it a tap. Just get these lacquer balls down between the roots. Don't want to really have any air pockets inside. So I will try to use all of the smaller lacquer first. As I said, just help it get down between the roots. I want to try and get this in the centre of this. Here. Give it a nice little tap on the sides. And I'll try and fill the pot up to the top. Some roots are being exposed at the top here, but I'm not too fussed about them because they'll just dry out, but the ones underneath will stay healthy. Right, so and then I'm going to have to try and tie something here. Now with this pole, you get this kind of metal banding, if you like, and it will tie around this top stem just to keep it a little bit more stable. I want it to look nice, so what I'll do is I'll put a little bit around here, the bottom of the base, so it can stabilise. It's very top heavy. The top of this stem is actually quite fat, whereas the bottom is quite small, and I think that's the problem this plant has at the moment. I need that kind of bottom section. I'll probably end up cutting this, actually making a smaller a smaller bottom part of this plant and then take maybe two cuttings to kind of even out a little bit more. But once the pollen comes and once I've got enough pollen to start crossbreeding it with something else. So I will eventually cut this down, but at the moment, because it's got an inflow, I don't want to touch it. I want the inflow to spew out some pollen. Spew out, that's a lovely term, Gary. And then I will cut back. Right, so the wind is going to kind of blow this over, so I'm going to close these doors over. Alright, so you stay still, my dear. So I've got some shears, just cut this part off and then curl that back around just for an added bit of support. I've got this last section here which I'm going to try and tie up the inflow in that top leaf. I think maybe cross it here. If I can. This leaf is a little bit in the way. That's better, just something like that. It doesn't have to look pretty, to be honest. I'm not really that fussed. I'm actually moving in a few weeks' time, so I'm going to a different condo, so I wanted to kind of prep this now as opposed to later. So there we have it. First job done. The Indo Portillae cross Fort Sherman with its wrinkly old leaves. So what I'll do is I'll get this one out of the way and I'll feed it with my normal Nutrigrow. Fill it up to the bottom, make sure it has a good drink, and I'll do that in a second. Okay, so that's the first job done. Indo cross Fort Sherman, lovely job. Looking quite nice actually in the new pot. I'll show you again once I've watered, but the next one, I think the most serious one that we need to get on board with is the Monstera. Let's get rid of all of that water from the reservoir. This will go back in the same pot because I think it's just right. So you can see the new healthy, oh my gosh, underneath. So you can see the healthy water roots. So the ones that have gone black are just the ones that have come out of the soil. So, you know, I don't think they'll kill a plant, and you know, because there's a lot of new growth, new healthy growth in there, and I think it's just a case of the soil roots just dying off, making room for the water roots. So let's get this one out of the pot and actually check it. So again, I've got little supports, and again it's in lacquer. Well, actually, I will show you the new roots coming thick and fast. And what I'll have to do is I'll have to cut these little black bits off and treat it, because it is looking a bit more sick than I first thought. So these have been sterilised. So let's cut everything off that looks a bit rubbish. Let me try and bring you in actually, so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just out of shot a little bit, and as you can see, I'm just feeling up the stem, just cut above the rotted section out. So all of that was the old soil roots, so we don't need them anymore. That's all right. That part's all right. This one can come off, another yucky bit. And the last one. back. Yeah, there's another little bit there. Get rid of you. So now what we're left with is the healthy roots. That's solid, so that's not rotted. And before I use the leca balls here again, I will boil these for around 10 minutes just to kill off any bacteria that may be inside the balls themselves, because I should have done this a little while ago, but I've been quite busy actually, so the plants have taken a back seat for now, but I've got high hopes for this because the roots are looking very good. So it'll fit back in that pot. I don't want to kind of put it in too big a pot while it's recovering, and give it a hydrogen peroxide bath so it kills off any bacteria. So let me go and get the hydrogen peroxide and get the mix with the water, and we will work together and get this plant back on form. Yeah, there's plenty of yuckiness in here, so I should have really worked on this earlier, but I didn't really notice it actually, if I'm totally honest, until about 2 weeks ago. But it just goes to show that just because you have black soft roots, it doesn't always necessarily mean the plant is gone, because if all of the roots were in this black mushy mess, then I would say the plant will struggle to bounce back, but it won't. It'll be fine, and I'll keep you updated actually when I do any updates that I have in here in the flat. Okay, so I've got my hydrogen peroxide, and obviously you mix this with water. I normally do about a 10 to 1 ratio, so 10% hydrogen peroxide. This one is actually only 3%, so you definitely need the diluted one of this. So I'll do about, let's open it. So I will put in, what we got here, we've got, it's all in Thai, probably about 100 ml, so I will use half of this. Okay, so that's half of the bottle. It's a brand new bottle. Ooh, it smells. And about half a litre of water. So I'll bring you down so you can actually see. So this is the mixture, and what we do now is we just pop the root ball inside and just make sure all the roots are getting a thorough wash, and you'll see round by the roots they will start fizzing. So if I leave that there for 10 minutes, I can already see it starting to fizz. Let me just zoom in, if I can zoom in a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll leave that sitting in there for 10 minutes, just give it a little swish every now and again just to get into all of the root area. I might put a little bit more water in that actually, because I think it may need some. And again, just keep pushing the roots down. One of the roots just tries to escape out of the water, but we'll leave it there for a few minutes. So what I'll do is I'll cut now, and we'll come back to the part when I start potting up again. Alright guys, so 10 minutes have passed where Miss Medusa has been having a spa treatment inside the hydrogen peroxide. So they've had a good soak, it's all nice and fizzy, everything else is nice and solid, so don't need to worry about that. Just picking off a couple of the dead bits that have just been in the bottom of the bucket. So as you can see, gorgeous roots. And as I said, I'm going to put it back into the same pot. And before I do that, actually, the pot here, see through, so I can keep an eye on the roots again. And it just sits in this little plastic tray for you know, it's an old fruit tray from the supermarket, and it makes a good vessel because I can keep an eye on the level here, always make sure it's halfway full. And yeah, so let's put some leca in the bottom of this. So just a little layer, and then take out medusa. Get that over the pot and out the way. So I'm going to try and dress these roots a little bit so they can spread out nice and easy inside this pot. Let's drop you down a little bit. Sorry for the out of shot, but I'll try and keep an eye on this one so as not to let the roots go. But that should have cured the problem now, because basically all the roots that are left in here are now the water roots from the transition from the soil to water. And I know it's healthy because, as I showed you earlier on, it kicked out a new leaf not long ago, and it was a great leaf. Let's just bring that up a little bit, pat down that leca, make sure. No, it should be stable. Maybe I'll stick a support inside again, just to keep the plant stable. And I have a little bit of Velcro. We'll get that sorted. There we are. You can come out the way. So that basically is how the plant is looking now. So I want to kind of tilt it back a little bit actually. It's quite a blowy day here in Bangkok, so I'm going to close these windows over, otherwise it's going to blow the plant over. And I have my little trusty broom to reach out because I'm 4 floors up and I have a little railing here. So yeah, as you can see, she's now potted. The roots are coming out around the side. I can see a little bit of root action in there. And the next stage is just feeding and topping up the water and just keeping an eye on her. And as I said, what I use is this Formulex solution, which I did show you in a previous video. And it's basically, you can use this in soil, hydroponics, semi-hydro, etc. And it works fine for me. So it comes in a little 1 litre bottles. Unfortunately, as I said before, I can't get this in Thailand, so I've got a friend coming out in January who'll bring me another bottle. And you know, just read the instructions here, 5 ml per litre I think it was, and I will top up that reservoir in the bottom. But guys, let me go and get the other plant. So here we have the Fort Sherman, or the Indo Portillae cross Fort Sherman. So that will need a drink too. So I'm just going to mix up the solution, but you don't need to watch that. You know how to water your plants. What I'd like to say is, again, thank you for watching. If you've gotten anything out of this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share, comment. And I've had some really lovely comments lately, and especially to one Ginger. You know who you are. Always the first to put a little comment down there. But and Tom, happy Christmas, Tom. He's now in Sri Lanka. And yeah, so just please following the channel. I'll try and do another update video on these plants in about 6 to 8 weeks, just to show you how they're getting on. I don't have any worries about the Monstera medusa, you know, after all of those blackened roots. So it'll pull through fine. The Indo Portillae, as I said, I'm just going to pull some pollen off that inflow when it comes through, and then I'm probably going to chop it into 2 because it's growing wild now and I can't keep up with that. So I'll probably do another video showing you the propagation on that one. Alright, thank you again for watching, guys, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.